Welcome to the 20-something Coach podcast. My goal with this show is to strip back the curtains and give you all the tea on how you can launch and grow a successful coaching business as a 20-something-year-old. And in case we haven't met, I'm your host Mayfair, business and mindset coach, author, content creator, and speaker. It's so good to have you here, and I hope you get a ton of value from this. And if you are a new or aspiring coach, you can grab my free launch checklist to make sure you have everything you need to launch your business and start getting those clients. So honestly, this is just a crazy time in history, an unprecedented time. And I don't think a lot of people, including the government, really know what to do with themselves. So obviously there's like a huge amount of uncertainty, and I know it'll be a really tough time for people, right? Because like a lot of us are completely thrown out of our routine, out of the things that normally make us feel safe and make us feel really, really good. So what I wanted to do in this episode was kind of give you like 5 things, like 5 tips for things that you can do, things that you can focus on to actually glow up during this pandemic. Because the cool thing is, right, we're not, because of social distancing, we're not seeing each other. Right, so like imagine like if this lasts 3 months and you were to come out of this and just be up leveled and just to have had a massive glow up from this. Like I honestly believe like this is possible, and I know like there's so much doom and gloom on the news, so you don't need me to come on this podcast and give you more doom and gloom. Like you can just like log on to the news for all of that. So on this podcast, and I'm not saying like these are like short episodes that I want to give you practical, actionable advice. So me being positive in them and like suggesting ways that you can glow up, it doesn't mean that I don't recognize the seriousness of the issue. I just think you get enough of that elsewhere. So as for here, we gonna keep it high vibe. We're gonna keep it positive. We're gonna keep it not even optimistic. Like I think you just get to choose the perspective that you see from. So anyway, without further ado, before I keep blabbing on, let me give you 5 tips, 5 things that you can focus on to glow up during this pandemic. Number 1 is diet. So obviously gyms have been completely closed down now. I think in the UK they've massively limited stuff that you can even do like outside. Like I think in the guidelines they said like you can kind of go out once a day for some form of exercise, like whether that's like a run or a walk or a cycle. And I know for me, like this was one of the things that really took its toll on me. Like I think I just got a personal trainer where I'd been working with a personal trainer for about a month, and I really started to get into a good routine. Like with the gym, I was feeling stronger. My gym's like it's about like a 25-minute walk from where I live. So I have the routine of like walking to the gym 25 minutes, get a good workout in, and then walk 25 minutes back. So I was feeling really good, feeling really, really strong. So it kind of took a big toll on me when I realized I wasn't able to do that. And also for me, gym was like definitely about feeling stronger and better. But I did have a weight goal, not because like I wasn't happy with my body, just because like I think for me, I know like my optimal weight is lower than I'm at currently. So I was really pushing to get there. So it can be quite disheveling not being able to go to the gym and have your normal workout routine. But diet is one thing that you can control during this time. Obviously, there's like some food shortages. But the interesting thing that I found is as I've been doing my shopping, organic stuff is actually the stuff that's like available, which is obviously a bit more expensive. But I think our health is one of the biggest things and the best things that we can invest into, and I've been wanting to kind of transition to organic for a long time, and this kind of pandemic has forced me to do it, so I don't think I'm going to stop after this. So anyway, like diet has been one of the things that I've really been focusing on, like just making sure I've been getting nutrients that give me energy, because at the end of the day, your health, weight loss is 80% diet and 20% exercise, right? So that's a big proportion. Like you can still honestly glow up and come out of this thing looking snatched if you watch your diet. Like I know for weight loss, one really, really good book that I'm listening to on Audible is it's called Not a Diet Book. I forget the author, but anyway, my personal trainer recommended it to me, and it's really, really good. And he basically just like simplifies weight loss, and it's basically calories in, calories out. So I know like getting a sweat in feels amazing, and of course you can still do that. You can still get a run in, you can still do home workouts, and I'm still doing all of that. But honestly, the biggest thing is diet, like making sure if you're trying to lose weight, you're in a calorie deficit. Obviously, disclaimer, I am not a nutritionist, I'm not a personal trainer. This is just me sharing like on my journey. But yeah, as long as you're like consuming less calories than you're putting out, you're gonna lose weight. But it's obviously about being healthy with it, because you don't want to you want to lose weight, you want to drop fat whilst maintaining as much muscle as possible, which becomes harder when you like drastically drop your calories. And plus, like, your energy levels are just too low to even be functionally productive when you drop your calories massively. So yeah, anyway, diet's like one of the big things that you can kind of control during this time, and honestly use it as like a way to create routine. Like, I know for me, and probably a lot of other people, food and what I eat is a big part of my routine. Like, whether it's meal prep that I do on a Sunday, whether it's like having my coffee and my shake, my protein shake in the morning as I write my email to my list. So yeah, routine is like food is like a massive thing. Diet is a massive thing that can, honestly, like give you a bit of structure, give you a bit of routine during this time, and honestly cause you to glow up. So like, why not use this time to do some research on some superfoods? Like, what are some ingredients, what are some foods that can really help you to achieve some of the health and aesthetic goals that you've wanted? Like, whether it's you want better skin, like you want to have better energy levels, like whatever it is, like use this time to improve your diet, and let's glow up, let's come out of this snatch, because yeah, why not? So the second thing, and this is like a mixture of like kind of more physical, practical stuff, and kind of like more mental, mindset stuff. So I've tried to switch them around. So the first one was diet. The second way that you can glow up during this pandemic is to connects to your purpose, to your mission. And this is huge. Like, I can't tell you, like, there's nothing that gives you more of a glow than walking in purpose. There is nothing that gives you more of a glow when you're connected to your purpose. Like, you even know it for yourself. Like, you feel different. Like, you radiate a different kind of energy when you're walking in your purpose. Like, you're doing the thing that it is that you've been called to do. So I really encourage you, like, to spend some time. Like, if you know the thing, if you know your purpose, if you know the thing that you've been called to, I encourage you to spend some time serving in that in the way that you can. So for example, if you're a speaker, cool, events have been cancelled, but what else can you do? Like, can you do Facebook lives? Can you do Instagram lives? Or maybe you have like a real heart for just supporting people. Like, what can you do? Like, how can you innovatively serve again? Like, connect back to your why. And if you don't know what your purpose is, use this time to connect back to it. Like, I honestly say, like, having time alone, having time in the presence of God is one of the biggest things that I attribute to how much I've been able to step into and walk into my purpose. So we have that now. So use this time to step into your purpose and to come out more ready to walk in it. So that's the second way that you can glow up during this pandemic. Connect back to your purpose. The third thing is to feed your mind. I have seen I've seen a lot of TikToks going round. I don't have TikToks, but I see them like on Instagram where people post them. And I'm not saying like any of that is bad. Like, I think I actually love the fact that this pandemic has brought out our playful, kind of like childlike side, which I think that's great. Like, we're supposed to be I think we're supposed to grow up, but I don't think we have to become boring or lose our childlikeness. That's actually our power. So I love the fact that people are doing that. My point is simply, this isn't the only thing that you should be doing during this pandemic. This is a really, really good time to feed your mind things that are edifying, feed your mind things that uplift you, to gain knowledge, whether it's podcasts, whether it's books, whether it's Audible, whatever. Like, just do something to feed your mind. That's the biggest way that you're going to glow up, right? Because the internal glow up is way more than the external glow up. So yeah, use this time to feed your mind. I personally love listening to sermons. One of my favorite, I'd say two of my favorite preachers, English. Two of my favorite preachers are one, Pastor Trey Roberts from One Church LA. Love him. His wife is Sarah Jakes Roberts. She is also amazing, but I personally just really connect to Pastor Trey. And one, the second kind of preacher that I really listen to is Dr. Stevenson, also amazing, from All Nations Chicago. And another quick kind of side note is, I know like a lot of people are like streaming church online, like and it may not be your home church or whatever, and I really encourage you like to sow a seed like into those ministries, like especially a lot of the bigger ones. They will have ways that you can give. If it's a smaller church that you're live streaming into, and you normally like I don't know, like pay tithes or whatever, I'm sure you can simply ask like your leaders like how you can give to that. And again, this isn't being religious, but it's just like these are services that are working really, really hard to innovate and to provide for you. So I think it's a good principle to sow back into the places that are feeding you. So yeah, feed your mind. The fourth thing, we are on the fourth way that you can glow up during the pandemic is self-care. Like, use this time to reset, use this time to recharge your batteries, because I have said this before and I'll say it again, this pandemic will not be the end of the world. Like, I know it feels like it. I know it feels disheveling. I know it feels disorientating, but this will not be the end of the world. Like, we will return back to a form of normalcy. I don't think things will go back to the same. Things won't go back to how they were again. Not in a bad way, actually. I think in a good way. But things will go back, and there will be a time like where you'll be wishing you had the time that you do now. So use this time to like really, really, really recharge your batteries and top yourself up. So, self-care, it can look like having a really good meal. So we talked about diet earlier. It can look like having a face mask, like looking after those things externally. It could be like having a nice cup of coffee in the morning. It could be, this tip kind of like sums up the above stuff that we've been talking about. It could be feeding your mind. Self-care is just like recharging those key batteries that in everyday life, maybe before this whole thing kicked off, you were quite depleted or you were using quite a lot. So say, for example, if you have a job that's like very, very creative, requires your creative energy, make sure you top up a lot on that. Like, if you have a job that requires a lot of your physical energy, top up on that, get some extra sleep. But yeah, up the self-care, hunty, up the self-care. The fifth and final way that we can glow up during this pandemic is to plan for the future. Again, like, I know this time is really unsettling. I know, like, for a lot of people, you're just trying to get from one day to another, and that is so okay. Give yourself grace during this season. Self-care, like, up the self-care, all of that. But don't forget to dream either. Like, there's nothing that rejuvenates you than when you plan and dream, right? Like, I don't know if you know this, like, when you've just like come up with like a game plan, like, or a master plan for your business, and you just have this glow, like, you can go and you can defeat like any giant that tries to come your way that day. So yeah, that's like a massive way that you can glow up during this pandemic, is to plan. And this could be plans for your relationship. Like, I know for me and my partner, we have we're both kind of like quite systemsy people, so I don't think like the average couple would maybe do it in this way. But for us, we have like a Google Docs that basically plans out like the way that we wanna conduct our relationship, like our rules for communicating, like what are his visions, what are my visions, what are our joint visions and missions. So planning for that, like planning for your career, like where is it that you want to go, planning for your business. Use this time to plan. Like, honestly, it's so energizing, and it will really allow you to come back stronger during this time. Like, honestly, it almost feels like it almost feels like a reset, right? The world is kind of standing still for you. I know we always talk about, oh my gosh, if time could just stand still for a minute. Well, here you go. Here you have it. So there you go, guys. There's 5 ways that you can glow up during this pandemic. Number 1, prioritize your diet. Like, make sure you're eating stuff that make you feel really, really good, energized. Number 2, connect back to your purpose, connect back to your why, your mission. Number 3, feed your mind. Number 4, up that self-care. And number 5, plan for the future. I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay home. Keep washing your hands. And I promise you, this will be over soon. This will be over before we know it. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode and being a part of this tribe. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do share and leave me a review. It would mean the world to me. And until next time, let's get the shmoney, honey.